People are wondering, why have I not been posting? I've gone quiet. Where's the podcast? I am not bitter anymore. I was sad for a while and angry. You don't know whom you might be helping by sharing a story, sharing an idea, sharing a tip. So don't be selfish. Hi everyone. Guess who's back? It's Lucky. People were wondering, why have I not been posting? I've gone quiet. Where's the podcast? I think I last posted an episode in August. So this is why I'm back, and a lot has been happening behind the scenes. So I just thought I'd come out here and maybe give you a little bit more of what's been going on. But I am alive, as you can see. So we last aired an episode in August, like I said, the one we did with Pastor Ngwe. People who follow us on YouTube have been asking, what's happening? Like, where are the episodes? We're waiting. So I don't know if you can notice where I'm seated, still in the same studio, but we have a new logo. And I don't know if you can see as well. The name is changed. It's no longer in touch with Lucky. It's now keeping in touch with Lucky. So I like to shorten it as KIT, your toolkit. So I've had to rebrand because In Touch with Lucky was a partnership that I had entered with a colleague. And unfortunately, things did not go according to plan. The vision I had for the project did not eventually align with what my colleague had. So we've had to part ways. Very sad, because I actually enjoyed working with them, with him. I'll say it. It's him. It's a man. I enjoyed working with him. So I do, mourn the loss of that, but life has to go on. I am not bitter anymore. I was sad for a while and angry, I must say, because we'd invested a lot of time and effort into the project. We had recordings that we had recorded and we were yet to put them out. So I did lose time. I would like to think that he lost time as well, but this is life. Things happen. We're here now. So we've rebranded. I've had to rebrand because that was a partnership. That was a venture with someone else. So now this is a different venture. Unrelated but related, because it's still me. I'm still the face of it. So we've got new colors. That looks like a black, but it's actually like a deep, deep blue, navy blue. I love my navy blue. And gold, which is why I try to put, this one is a mustard, this mustard yellow, but I think it's close to gold. I was just trying to go with the theme today. So that is the logo. It's actually a black one, like a black or black, navy background. It looks like a black, but it's actually navy. So that is the logo. But here I just thought we'll do it that way so that it looks well with the walls. But this is the logo. KIT, KIT, keep in touch with Lucky. So much as I was a bit disappointed with the In Touch with Lucky that didn't work out, but in a way I think it's been a blessing, because with this now I have actually put all my, I don't know what, my services together. Because now, as some of you know, I do emceeing for events and I do event coordinating and planning. I've done a few events, like this year I did a few, with the Mother's Day events, with the breast cancer fundraiser. So what I've done now is KIT now has the podcasting with Lucky. It has event planning and coordination and master of ceremony MC. So we have our website. We'll put the link here. You see the website. Go on the website and just have a look at all our services. Go in the gallery. You see the pictures of all well, not all, but most of the events that I've done in the past, and maybe upcoming ones will be on there as well. If you want to book me for to help you plan your event, you can go on there, you can make a reservation. If you want me to come and be an MC at your event, you can go on there and make a reservation. And we also do social media marketing. So if you have a product or service that you want the people, the world to know about, do reach out to us. We've got different packages that we've put together just so that you can showcase your business. I believe that, what's the point of having a business that you're not showcasing? So we'll help you with that. We can help you to tailor, make your messages. If you want to sponsor this, that's another way of social media marketing. Actually, you can actually sponsor this podcast, give your segment. You can come in and talk about your business, or you can send us your adverts. So there's so much that we've put together as part of this rebranding. So like I said, in as much as I was disappointed, it was also a blessing that now I'm now putting all my products or services in one. And the other colleague of mine, he wasn't part of my other ventures. So it's worked out well for me, I must say. I just have a few questions here that we've put together. As with the first project, I think I did a video when I started that this podcast is for everyone. We're going to be discussing varied topics, different topics to talk about raising children in the diaspora. Myself, I grew up in Zimbabwe. Now I'm raising a son in Australia. It's so different. So we have those conversations as to how we can bridge that gap, how we can maintain our values, my Zimbabwean values, but also raising this young man who has a different set of values. And we'll talk about, black tax. We come from Zimbabwe. I mean, you could come from maybe Zambia, depending on who's watching. There is black tax. So we can talk about that, ways around that, how we can also support our families back home, maybe without burdening ourselves as much. We can also talk about migration, immigration. People are having issues with visas. So we are hoping to have immigration experts who can unpack those issues for us. What visas what visas are there for people to come to Australia, what to do and what not to do in an application. So talk about marriages in the diaspora. People come, they're happily married, whatever happy looks like for them, and life happens in the diaspora. Marriages are breaking down by the day. It's actually very sad because there's children involved. So we can talk about that. We can talk about relationships, dating. Dating. Oh, guys. Woo! Dating. Dating over 40 and you have a child. It is not easy because, like, for myself, I'm 41 and I've acquired a few things in my life. I'm not rich, but I think I'm okay. So you find that now meeting someone, it can be tricky because they have maybe also accomplished some things and they don't maybe trust my intentions, or vice versa. So we need to talk about that. I think we did an episode before with In Touch with Lucky. You need to look it up, about the Australian version of prenuptials. So I fall in that category. It's difficult dating above 40. So we'll talk about that as well. Relationships, men, I've been ghosted a few times. We want to know, why do men ghost us? What have we done? So we want to talk about that. So I'm hoping, and running businesses as well, running a business in the diaspora is the hardest. I told you I've had to rebrand. It's because of the challenges that I encountered in the partnership that I had entered. So we can talk about that. The pitfalls, what to look out for, maybe what things you can put in place to protect yourself, because you do need to protect yourself. You can enter into a partnership, it doesn't work out, someone can come back and claim, say, no, this is my business also. We started something together. So you need to put things in place so that you are covered when that happens. What else can we talk about? Work-life balance in the diaspora. Are we spending enough time with our children? Do we see enough of them? Do they see enough of us? Or are we just at work, at work, at work, paying the mortgage, paying the bills, and then we smother them with gifts? I've been a victim myself, or victim. Maybe my son is a victim of that, because you work, 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 and then you feel so guilty, like, oh, and you go into the shops, you want, mommy, I want this, I want that, and you just end up buying toys that he doesn't even need, because you're doing that to make yourself feel better. So we can talk about that as well. How we can navigate that, how we can be there for our children more, and you know, as they're growing up, they need us. We are already isolated, and we just need to figure out how we can do that. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, and sometimes it's just the village giving you advice. So we're hoping the podcast will do that, and that's the impact I'm hoping also to bring to the community, because I feel that as women, we know, there's a ladies group that I'm a part of, Loza, most of you will know. We talk about all these things, and it's a magnificent, beautiful group, but I feel like our men are left out. They are just left out. I don't know why, which is why I'm hoping as well this podcast will involve the men. We want the men to come. Let's hear your grievances. I had a friend of mine call me one time. Tafazo, I'm going to call you out. He rang me and he said, oh, but how come you're talking about men and us, the men, we're not even there? I'm like, mate, come. Are you willing to come? He said, yeah, maybe, I guess not. So this is the problem. We are now having to converse on our own as women, but we need you men. If it's a relationship, a marriage setting, it's two, isn't it? So we want to hear your grievances as men. What is happening? People will say, men will say, oh, ladies, manofurirana and all that. I don't believe that is the case. However, come out and tell us, what is your real issue? Let's hear you. So I'm hoping that we'll hear. I'm hoping by the time we air this episode, our inbox will be flooded with your calls, your emails, just saying, Lucky, I want to come on the show. So really, there's no limit as to what we can talk about. Any topic is welcome. I mean, within reason, of course. But I believe that we are so rich with knowledge, especially Zimbabwean people, African people. We are so rich with knowledge. We have had different experiences, but your experience is not unique to you. Only you'll be surprised that there are so many other people who are maybe going through the same, who have also walked a similar path. Yeah, some factors might be different because, of course, we are all different, but you don't know whom you might be helping by sharing your story, sharing an idea, sharing a tip. So don't be selfish. Do come out. We want to hear what you have to share with us. What else here? Oh, yeah. It says, what makes you so sure you have an impact on people's lives? Well, I'm not sure, but I think that back to the experience thing that I just mentioned a little while ago, that 41 lived, probably I'm coming to a point whereby in next year I would have lived in Australia probably the same time that I lived in Zimbabwe, because I came here when I was 22. So half and half. I have half, experience in Zimbabwe, half in Australia. So that alone is something. And the way I was raised, I think I mentioned in the first episode for the other, for the In Touch with Lucky, I mentioned my upbringing, my childhood. My parents were divorced, but they were amazing business people. My dad had a company that was flourishing, back in the day, and so did my mother. So I grew up in that environment where my mother didn't work for anyone. She worked for herself. She was an entrepreneur to the core. So am I think. I mean, I still work right now. I work full time, but I believe that I'm an entrepreneur at heart. It's in my blood. I was talking to my friend the other time. She was so surprised when I was telling her that I used to go to South Africa, in my teens. Kuno hoda, I think I was 18. Or yeah, I used to go with my mom initially, and then I would go by myself. Kuno order, literally, per border, pepe. You go in, you say, no, I've got these pair of shoes, and you had to swap with other people, so you have different items. I did all that. She was very surprised. So, so I am street smart to an extent. So I believe that I have something to share, and it's really not just me sharing anyway. That's why I'm inviting people to come. It's just a platform that I've created for people to share. It's not just about me sharing, but it's also other people just having that platform where people can find that information. We want it to be a place where you're like, oh, I want to know where I can find a Zimbabwean doctor. We should be able to provide that information for you eventually. So if there's a Zimbabwean doctor watching, please do come. Your people need you. Come. What else? Yes, so is another question here says that where do you get the time? Well, I just mentioned that I also work full time. So I'm a mom of one, single parent, working full time, running a few businesses. Yeah, it is hectic, I must say. And I do some work in the community as well. It is hectic. That is the truth. There is no lie there. So time, where do I find the time? I wake up early. This is me. 5:30. I'm up. I have to be. Otherwise, if I don't do that, I'll be lagging behind. So because my other business, I work with people in Zimbabwe. So when I'm waking up at 5:30 or 5, they are going to bed. They would have sent me updates as to what orders they delivered, whatever issue they encountered. So that's the first thing I sort of do to address those things. And then once that's done, I'm now addressing things onshore. So yeah, probably by 6:30 I'm done with that. And then it's now preparation to go to school for my son and maybe work for me. And then but the other thing though that I find works well for me, a lot of people don't like this about me, but I don't take phone calls. I avoid them because I feel that a phone call will take so much of your time, unnecessary time, because that's just us, our people. We like to talk. Someone will call you to ask about a transaction. It's never going to be about a transaction. You end up, oh, kona mama makadi kumusha, oh, this, that, and the other. So you find you probably spend 5 minutes just with the highs and how I use before you even get to the actual matter. Then you get into the actual matter, even the way they're explaining it, it takes long. And, people mean well because they want to give you as much information as possible. But you find that a phone call that was supposed to last maybe 2 minutes can end up lasting maybe 20 minutes. And look, this is a boundary I've put as well for myself because I know myself. I talk as well. So I just said, you know what? Send me a message, send me an email. I can determine whether I need to make a phone call if I need further clarification. And probably 90%, 95% of the time, I've not needed to call anyone because it was clear in the message. So that is a boundary that I've put in place for myself. It's been in place for years now, and people don't like it, like I said, but this is the thing. You can't please people. You can't please everyone. You can try, but that'll be impossible. It's like, no, you can't do that. So that's how I manage my time. That's probably the major one I would say. And obviously the waking up early. What else? Yeah, no, that's really how I make time. And I try not to procrastinate. If there's something that I want to do, I just make sure I do it as much as I can, well, as quickly as I can. The most surprising thing to learn about you, well, um, it's funny. People think that I'm an extrovert. Maybe I am because they see me out. But people who have lived with me, they will tell you that I'm actually introverted to an extent. I didn't say I'm an introvert. I said introverted to an extent. So so the in between would be introvert, extrovert. So I'm an ambivert. I believe I am, because when I'm out, I'm happy, I must say. But when I'm in the house, indoors, I'm happy. Sometimes I just want to be home by myself with my son, but even him, he can be in his bedroom, I'll be in my room. As long as he's eaten, we can actually be okay without being in each other's faces. So I like my quiet time a lot. I feel that's how I recharge. So when you see me out there, you're like, oh, she's a social butterfly. But no, it's not an everyday thing. I'm happy when I'm out, but I'm also very, very happy when I'm indoors. And I remember telling some girls that I used to live with back in the day. I remember saying to them when I moved in with them, I said, "Look, I do go quiet sometimes. Don't ever think that I'm angry or sad or not happy. Nah, that's just me. I go quiet sometimes. So that's me. So it's shocking to people. I know people think that I'm talking 24/7. No, I'm not. I think that's why I'm also able to do a lot of things, because I feel like I get to recharge a lot. So you can see me out maybe once day out of 14. It seems like, oh, she's always on the go. Actually, not. Yeah, I think that would be the most shocking thing about me. Yep. Hi, guys. This is Lucky. I just thought I'd come out here and just say a massive thank you to all of you who have reached out to me on our socials, on our YouTube channel. I see all your messages just cheering me on. Honestly, I am so touched whenever I read those messages. The thing with YouTube, though, is some people use different names that are not the same as Facebook names, but I have gone on every profile to try and have a look to see who this person is. And thank you so much. I've seen your messages. Primrose, Kudi, Rachel, I've seen you ladies. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me that you're watching. You've gone, because this is not Facebook, it's another platform that you've taken your time to go on to, and just to watch and leave a compliment. I don't take that lightly. Continue cheering me on, and others as well who are in this space. It's unfamiliar for me, because I'm starting out. So that encouragement is what keeps me going. And thank you. Continue to watch, share with your friends, share on your socials, and maybe even come on one day and be a guest. Thank you. So yes, so just to recap, this is who we are now. Keeping in touch with Lucky Kit so that it's easy. Even the website, you're gonna see it. We'll put the link here. That's who we are now. The YouTube channel is still the same channel. Of course, the name has changed, but it's still the same. You're going to see the old videos are still there. Go and watch. There's so much to be learned from there. Even when I'm watching, I'm like, oh wow, that was good. Some things I would have missed them. When we were recording. So how you can take part in this new adventure, this journey, 2025 is gonna be amazing. How you can take part is suggest topics. Tell us what you want us to talk about. But also, don't just suggest, come. If you know you've got something that you want to share with the community, do come. I always believe that everyone has something to give. Yes, some people are not very good, with public speaking, but this is not public speaking as such. It's just the two of us sitting. It's a conversation we're having. Okay, that's fine. Let's say maybe you're not comfortable. You might know someone. Suggest, Tell your friend who's running a business to come. Tell your friend who's running a practice to come, and we can have a conversation. Church leaders, community leaders, we want to hear from you. So, and also, you can also contribute by sharing. Just share our page, share our YouTube videos with your colleagues, with your workmates. That's how you can be a part of this. And let's make it our thing together. It's a community. Oh, it's lucky podcast, but for me, it's for the benefit of the community. So let's create that platform. We've got our children growing up. They also need to to have a space where they can also go on to and see all things Zimbabwean, you know. So let's support this venture. I think we're gonna have fun. Thank you so much.